Thank you for coming. Welcome. My name is Karina Bravo Plancarte, and I work for the admissions office here at Rotterdam School of Management. I'm originally from Mexico, so as you see, it's not only faculty that are international, but also staff. And well, during this presentation, you can ask any questions you may have to our students. We have here 4 students. They are currently doing their second year of the IBA program. So could you please introduce yourselves, starting with Pauline?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Pauline. I come from France. I'm a 20-year-old student in my second year. I study the International Baccalaureate, so if you have any questions regarding that program, admission requirements, or anything, you can ask me.
Okay, hi, my name is Anna. I'm from Germany, and I did the German Abitur, as you can see, and as the others here, I'm a second-year IBA student, so feel free to ask questions.
Hello everyone, welcome. I'm Marissa. I was born in the Netherlands, but I did my United States high school diploma in America, in the United States. And I'm also a second-year IBA student.
Okay, my name is Kevin, and I'm 18 years old. I'm from the Netherlands, from Breda. I did the normal VWO, so if you have any questions, feel free to ask me.
Okay, so let's start. Who wants to ask the first question? Oh, we have one person. Okay, that's good. We have students with microphones, so they will come to you. So you could just raise your hand if you have a question, and then they will come to you.
For the IB, what subjects did you take?
At higher level, I took business, geography, and English B, and standard I took math, environmental systems and societies, and French A, Lang and Lit.
Another question?
This is a question for you. What percentage of your teaching staff would you say is international?
Which percentage of our staff is international?
No, your teaching
staff.
Yeah.
I would say it's about 40%, if I'm correct. Yes.
What?
That's a question more for Adri, who gave the presentation in the beginning, because he is the academic director. But I think it's about 40%.
Okay, thank you.
Another question? Yeah. Here.
How many groups are in the? How many students are in a group, more or less?
You mean in the class?
In the class, yes.
It's 550 students.
Okay, thank you.
But we also have, so we have lectures that are with all students together that are about 500 students, but we also have, every week we have workshops, especially for quantitative subjects such as mathematics and economics, where you work with about 30 to 50 students in a class, and you get more practical help from older students.
We have another question. Yes?
Can you tell me how a day's... kan je vertellen hoe een dag eruit ziet?
Okay, so
can you yes?
So the question is what a normal day is for an IBA student. For a normal day for us is we don't have that many lectures or classes. So on an average per week you have 15 hours of class. Normally you have a work group from 9 to 11. From 11 to 1 maybe you have a lecture. And after that it depends on you. But a lot of students do extracurriculars, so they might have to do that, or they go to the library and they study. It really depends on the students as well.
Yeah, so we have 15 hours contact class, and maybe could you tell us, each of you, how many hours do you study per week, apart from those 15 hours of class?
For me, it depends, because I do a lot of extracurriculars. I tend to study per week around 10 hours, but for others I know that it takes like 25. What about you?
Yeah, for me it depends as well. Like during the regular trimester, I'm maybe studying also around 10 hours per week or so, because I like to read the chapters after the lectures. But then obviously during exam times, people are studying like 24/7, even at night. So it really depends also per student about how much time you need to study and read.
Well, I would say for me it's about 15 hours, a little bit more, because But as Marissa said already, when exams come around, you study a lot more than the 10 hours a week.
Yeah, it's the same thing. I like to catch up with lectures. So if we have a lecture and we have a couple chapters to read, I like to read over them or take notes right after the lecture, so it's still fresh in my mind. But yeah, during normal weeks, between 10, 15 hours, but when exams come, it's all the time.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
So I'd like to hear from all four of you, actually. What is the secret to having a successful first year?
Don't take free time for granted, because you feel like you have a lot of free time, because 2 to 4 hours of class a day, you feel like you have so many things to do aside, and I tended to not study much in the first year, but yeah, keep up with lectures, attend lectures, go to workshops. It's really important for your own self-study and to pass all your exams.
Yeah, I think so too. A lot of people underestimate the self-study, and I think everybody gets a kind of shock when they come to university. You get this huge book and they say, okay, you have to know the content in 4 weeks. But it's doable. At the beginning it's quite a shock, but I think if you're not encouraged by that, that's a good start.
Yeah, I agree. Also in the IBA program, I think it's very important to connect with other cultures. So not to just, I think that will make you really get the most out of your experience. So don't just stick with the Dutch people or stick with the French people, but also combine, make groups and make friends with other students to get really the most out of your IBA experience.
About passing the first year, I would say that, of course, you want to, during your free time, you should also be a bit more disciplined when you get to university to go study as well. But if you study with friends, it doesn't really feel like studying, it's more fun. So I would really recommend that as well.
Yeah, and like Adri mentioned in his last session, we keep students studying, so we have bonus tests, right? Mm-hmm. So yep. You keep on studying all the time. So in that sense, do you think it's difficult to pass the first year in your experience?
I mean, for me, I think IBA is challenging, of course. It is an ambitious program, but because we have so many tests online tests, and we have workshops and stuff, it is very easy to, or if you are disciplined enough, it is easy to keep up. And if you just keep up with the work and you do your exercises, then I don't think it is that hard to pass the first year. It's not doable.
Yeah, that's true. Also because what they already mentioned, you have the regular testing of assignments, so you always keep up with everything. It's not that like the 2 days before the exam you haven't done anything yet, because for me it was kind of shocking that for the first year you have to pass all your courses, which is in the Netherlands not really normal, but here it is. But they really do help you with that, and also you have tutoring classes, and you really get enough help to manage.
Yes, and we think since we have this rule to pass the first year in 1 year, it has been very successful. It's not that more students are failing. Definitely not.
And you know what is the failing rate for the first year?
For the first year? I think it's about 14%. Adri, know that?
Yeah, it's around 15%. 15%. But it's not just people that just don't pass it. It's also people that stop the course because they are not interested in it, or they want to go work instead of doing a bachelor. So, to be honest, failing rate by not passing the course, that's lower than that.
Yeah, just they realized I didn't like business at the end. So that's the thing. Yes.
Just a question to applying. What are some tips and tricks to applying to the admissions office?
Tips and tricks to apply. So what did you guys do to be accepted?
It also depends on your nationality, but this year they changed how the applying process works, because we used to have to write a motivation about our background, why we want to choose to study IBA, but this year they really are making it about integrating with other cultures, which is really important in IBA. So they have 5 questions, and they also revolve about being international, have an international mindset. So if you can really focus on that, I think that's a really big plus.
What I think is also quite important, especially if you're from the big 3, is to apply early.
Yeah.
So if you're either Dutch, German, or French, you should consider applying soon because they have got the rolling admission, as they just said. So if they filled the spots already with Dutch, German, and French people, they won't take any more of them, no matter how good actually your motivation or your grades are. So be early and write a good motivation.
Yeah, so I will just summarize how the admissions work is that we open our application on October 1st, so you can already apply. So if you have the grades and you have to answer the 5 questions that we have instead of the motivation letter, the English requirements, so if you have all that, you can already apply, and then you will get an offer maximum in 6 weeks. Now, because we don't have any applications, because we just started, and students usually wait till the end, you can get an answer earlier, maybe in 3 weeks, 4 weeks. So then you get an offer, and then you can accept the offer, and we will reserve your place in the IBA program. We don't compare students because some people think that we compare students, like, okay, we like this more because this has this. We don't do that. We look at the application one by one. So we look at the questions, the motivation, the grades, and if you fulfill all the requirements, that should be fine. And indeed, we encourage students to apply early because we have a cap in some nationalities. But that gets a bit more difficult like in March when with Germany, France, and the Netherlands. Yes, any other questions about admissions? Yes?
Yeah. And you have said that for certain nationalities it's like first in applying, first ones to take the seats. Is it like that?
So we have, for some nationalities, like the big three, the big 3 groups that we have in IBA, which is France, Germany, and the Netherlands. The earlier they apply, the better, because we have a maximum number for those nationalities. So if we have a student from Germany applying in March, when we already filled all the all the students for that nationality, then even though they fulfill the requirements, we won't be able to accept it because we already reached the capacity for Germans. Yeah. Yes.
Good morning. I think one of the questions in the admission form is how do you plan to make contact with students from other cultures? This is a question for all 4 of you. How did you do that in your first year?
Well, I met most of my friends from the IBA freshman weekend, which is the introduction weekend prior to the start of the program. And there you meet a lot of people, and not because I'm French, but like I met some French people, but I also hang out with a lot of other nationalities. So that's mainly how I met a lot of people from different nationalities than me.
Well, I took part in the Eureka Week, which is something similar. So there are a lot of events at the beginning of the year. And of course, you've got the group work where you will be put together with a lot of international students, which is quite fun. And of course, a lot of extracurricular things. There are a lot of parties, events, food events, so it's a lot of things to do. And I actually noticed after half a year that there are so many Germans here. So, well, you don't need to pretty much hang out with them, so you don't have the groups here that obviously, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, during Eureka Week, we are put into groups with, a bunch of students from our program, so that you are with a lot of different nationalities. If you just decide to speak English and talk to these people, you can become friends with them. Also, during the first trimester, when we are doing group work, we are put into groups by the program managers to make sure that you are, your group is international, that you are not just making group members from your same nationality. Yeah, so, and also people that come to IBA, generally, they don't really know anyone else in the program. So I have to say people are always trying to make new friends. So it is very easy to meet new people and to approach new people in the beginning.
Yeah, as for me, what I already mentioned, you have the introductory events where you're put in random groups with different nationalities. Everyone is really open, so definitely make use of that to meet everyone. What I would say is a big no-go is talking in your own mother tongue, because that kind of closes you off from other nationalities. So I think that's a big, what you could say in your motivation.
Okay.
Is it difficult to get used to the fact that you do most of the work like by yourself instead of at school?
I struggled last year, to be honest. Like I really did, because it's a really big transition in high school. You're really pushed constantly to work. You have homework, you have all those things. Here it's mostly your choice. So that's kind of difficult because you feel like you have a lot of free time, but you do have a lot of free time, but you have to use it wisely. And I think finding the balance between working and also having a social life and doing sports and all that, it was at least for me, it was a hard transition.
Yeah.
Like I had a hard time adapting to that at first.
What I thought, like if you have a lecture and somebody's talking about the topics and you feel, okay, that's easy, I know that seems logic, but you have to know it for the exam, and that's a completely different thing. So, well, I struggle as well, but it's pretty doable and you get used to it pretty soon, I think.
Yeah, and also just because, as we mentioned before, we are doing these tests every week, it does help you keep up with the stuff, so that really helps you keep up with the stuff during the trimester, so that you don't have like a whole book to study just the night before an exam.
Okay, and for me it was kind of hard in the beginning as well. A lot of Dutch people, in high school they tend to postpone everything to the last few days or the night before the exam. But a lot of the internationals, I mean, they chose this university, so they're really motivated. I would say that everyone in IBA is, they're very ambitious. So we also have a Facebook group with everyone, and then you see posts like 3 weeks before an exam of a German, for example, that says okay, what is the answer to this exam question? And then you start thinking, okay, maybe I should start as well. So for me, that helped as well.
Hi. What is the math background you need for the IBA program?
I think that's pretty different. I know people who were born in the Netherlands and lived their whole life here and have never been abroad who are here. I've never done a year abroad or something like that, so I'm not that international either. So it really depends on your motivation. Even if you have never been abroad, you can say, I want to. And I think that's important, right?
Yeah. But for the IB program, like the math requirements, you see? Yeah.
Oh, for the math requirements, I'm sorry.
But do you mean for IBA or like the IB high school diploma? Just in general to apply, or did you do IB in high school? Just in general? It depends per diploma, because for IB, I know that you have to do standard or higher level math and get a certain grade.
From my class, I took standard level math. You need at least a 5 out of 7. So that's the requirement I know. I don't know about the other ones.
Yeah, you can actually see on the website for every most of the diplomas in the world. You can see the specific selection requirements for math, for English. It's all laid out on the website because there's so many different diplomas.
Yeah, does that answer your question? Yeah. Yes? Okay.
A question for Pauline. Do you think that the IB has helped you manage your work more easily, like in uni?
It has, because in IB you have also a lot of self-work and you have to work a lot. If you do the IB, you probably know that already. But it does help also for the courses, depending on which course you take. I know that people that took economics, for example, or business, you have already the mindset set for business or economics classes. But also for time management, it does help you because you do have a lot of work to manage in IB, so it definitely does help.
There are many universities where you can study IBA. Why did you choose Rotterdam?
For me, I know in the Netherlands, for example, you have IBA at in Amsterdam, you have it in Tilburg, in Nijmegen. And when I was orientating in my 5th and 6th year of VWO, I went to all of them. And I think when I was there, I really thought of some courses that the quality was way less than here. I also came here and during the open day I had a really good feeling about, the students also, you have contact with us students, and they told me, you make so many new friends, everyone is really open, so that gave me a kind of safe feeling as well.
Yeah, for me, one of the reasons for choosing RSM is because of the city itself. Rotterdam has a lot of opportunities for business students here. Of course, we have a lot of big companies. We have the port, the biggest port of Europe. So there's a lot of the city itself is very modern compared to maybe other cities such as Maastricht or Tilburg, where also IBA programs are offered. If you're looking for a more small university, smaller classes, maybe that's more something for you. But because Rotterdam is bigger with the class sizes and everything, but I think for a business student, in addition to the ranking, of course, Rotterdam is a very good city to be in.
Well, I choose Rotterdam mainly because there are so many nationalities. As Ari just said, we have more than 60, which is quite a lot. And another reason, which I have to say and admit here, it's affordable. And if you look at the UK, if you look at other programs, they take £10,000 a year, which is, well, not affordable, definitely. And Rotterdam has a really good relationship between price and quality.
Yeah, they've said it all, basically, but also because I was in Brussels before coming here, and maybe that's a plus, but I mean, it's not too far from home as well. And because my counselor in high school told me about Rotterdam, because I have some people from my high school that went there, so that's also, if you know people that are there, you think that it's good. I don't know anyone that's in Amsterdam, for example, so that's also a reason why.
Hi, I just wondered whether any of you either did a gap year or know anyone who did a gap year, and how it affected your first years of study, or how it's viewed generally.
Did any of you take a gap year before starting IBA?
I myself not.
No, but there are quite a lot of people who did that. And it most of the time improves their English, so that's quite an...
Yeah, or a lot of people go backpacking, for example, like in Australia or Thailand or I don't know, and they get a lot of international experience, and it adds to their motivation to be, part of the IBA program.
Yeah, there are a lot of people that did do a gap year. I know a girl that did 12 gap years in her course, but it adds motivation. Like you travel around or something, you have a bit of work experience. I think that's also kind of adds to your application.
Do you know if any of the students at the stand took a gap year?
Malin. Over there.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
In Canada.
So maybe you can tell us.
Yeah, I actually took 2 gap years after high school, which wasn't quite intended, because I changed my plan from what I originally wanted to study then to IBA, which was a complete different thing, actually. And for me personally, I can say that I have the feeling that those gap years really made me more mature than I would have been right after high school. And I think it was maybe easier for me to get acquainted to an environment away from home and away from my family, because I was already so used to that. But I mean, other people who didn't take a gap year also succeeded just fine. So I think it really depends on what you want to do.
Yeah. Another question? Okay.
Yes, I got a question for Kevin. Me and my friend today are also from Breda. And when we would describe Breda, we would call it, well, in Dutch, gezellig, which means in English, very open and nice atmosphere. How would you describe the city of Rotterdam?
That's a good question.
Yeah, and because for me that was also something different. I would say Rotterdam is, basically the business hub of the whole of Netherlands, because all the big companies are situated here. It's kind of modern. That's also really great for IBA itself, because you can find companies to work with for example, with some assignments. But as a city, I would say it's really modern. It's really, especially IBA, it's really open as well. So you definitely find a bit of gezelligheid here as well.
Thank you.
Okay.
Would it be a problem if you didn't take economics in high school for the degree?
No, not really. I myself did take economics, but I did a science degree. And I know a lot of people that came from science or from, for example, biology courses. They didn't have any business or economics experience, but they still, if you have a good motivation, it doesn't really matter. And also in the course, you also get the basics first, so you definitely don't have to worry about that.
Okay, I have a question for all of you. What would you like to do when you're finished with IBA?
I personally want to do a master's here if possible, either in marketing or human resource, because that's the good thing about IBA is that it's really broad and you have many different courses from many different areas, and I knew from the beginning after studying my first year what I didn't want to do, so I know that I would never do finance stuff, for example. So yeah, probably a master in human resource or marketing here after.
Well, I'm also thinking about a master's. I don't know really which one yet, to be honest, but yeah.
Yeah, me too. I'm definitely going to do a master's. I don't know if I will do it abroad or at RSM, but I don't know which master's yet, and that's actually also why I decided to do IBA. I knew that I wanted to do something in business, but I don't know exactly which part yet. So IBA is really allowing me to have a broad base of subjects, and then after, maybe this year, I will be able to decide what kind of business part I want to specialize in.
For me, I would try to do the Master Sims, which is a really good business master, maybe here, maybe abroad, for the experience, and after, of course, get some work experience at a good company, and then maybe start my own company.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, at 1 we have an alumni session if you want to join, and you can ask one of the IBA graduates about his experience now that he is working. Another question? Okay, we have...
Can you say anything about accommodation? The ones of you that are international, like where you live, or you live on campus, or in an apartment or something?
Yeah. Well, I think Marissa and I lived in the Hatta building, which is directly on campus. It's really nice. It's they built it new. I think we were the second generation living there, so that's quite nice. What I think is you can live cheaper if you search for your own apartment, but housing is quite difficult, I think. For me, it was quite difficult.
So the Hatta building is the one that is here,
That's here on the campus. It's a dorm, yeah. It's really comfortable, especially for international students. If you come here for the first year, you have a nice apartment you share with 2 people, and my roommates were from Italy and Shanghai, which is quite nice. And yeah, it's good to make friends also beyond their studies.
Yeah, but you can only live there for 1 year. After that, you have to find your own apartment in the city. So, for example, I made some friends in the first year, and I'm living now together with them in an apartment in the second year. So that's really nice. The Hatta building is very nice to get acquainted to the campus, to the student life, and just get used a bit to Rotterdam. But it's only open for international students. Yeah, I know I'm Dutch, but I came from America, so they still allowed it. But it's actually only for international students. For Dutch students, to be honest, I don't think finding accommodation is that hard in Rotterdam as a single person. If you're looking for friends, it's harder to find a whole apartment, but just for a single room. Compared to other student cities, I don't think it was that hard. That's just my experience.
I guess in the Netherlands in general, it's difficult to find accommodation.
Yeah, but Rotterdam then is relatively easy compared to Amsterdam or something. Yeah.
So for internationals, you have the Hatta building, which is on campus. You have the student hotel, which you have your own room for a year, but to be honest, it's kind of expensive. But a lot of internationals still live there, though. You have Casa Erasmus and the International House, and there's also a new thing called Rotterdam to Stay. So there's a lot of accommodations available for international students, but a lot of international students, they also found an apartment on their own. They're really nice. It's not too hard, but you have to think about finding. You have to be on time. So in June is the peak season that there's a lot of accommodations available. So if you know already that you want to go here, go search in June, because if you come in September, it might be a little bit late.
Yeah, and you can contact our students here on Facebook, and then because they might know about rooms, and sometimes via you can find a room. There are groups of people that are renting their rooms out and all that.
Yeah, as an international, I would advise not to search too late, because I was in the International House, which is a building that belongs to Erasmus University, but it's about 5 minutes biking from campus. I was accepted in May in RSM, and as I rented my student room, it was already one of the last ones available, at least for buildings that belong to universities. So if you're looking for something safe, because I picked that room because I didn't know Rotterdam and I didn't really want to go to a random apartment, so I picked a student housing. You should not start looking too late, because actually, at least for the Erasmus ones, they get taken pretty quickly once you're admitted to the university.
Yeah. Okay, another question? Yes, here.
Excuse me, how would be the, let's say, your experience to share the time of professor with the students in the college and university? Is the time sharing with, let's say, exchange information or practice with when you have with the professors?
Oh, with the professors.
Like, how's the relationship with the professors? Like, how much time they...
Students and professors.
Okay, so during lectures you sit with 500 people, so of course personal contact is a bit more difficult, but always at the end of lectures the professor will always stay in the room and you can always ask him questions, so that's personal contact. You also can go to, well, their offices, they sometimes have walk-in hours, so then you can ask questions, you can send them emails, and in workshops you have way more personal contact. You have teaching assistants. Sometimes they're master students, sometimes they're other IBA students that are in other years. And with them you have really personal contact because the workshops are like around 30 people, sometimes smaller. We also have the mentor program in first year, and your mentor's there to help you with everything. So that kind of contact is really personal.
Yes, one question, please. We heard in the previous conference that provided that the school is in a big university, you can take the opportunity to study, to complement these studies with other courses from philosophy or whatever, no? Do you have experience on that, or could you explain a little bit slowly that?
Yeah, are you taking other courses, extracurricular?
I'm currently doing, usually people do their minor in the third year. I'm currently doing it during my second year. So I'm currently doing my minor, so that's, for example, possible if you are very ambitious and if you want to spend a lot of time studying, then do a minor. But it's only, like, I think my minor is 8 weeks. In 2 weeks I have my exam already, and then I have my minor. So for the rest of the year I'm just doing IBA. So that's definitely possible. Like other classes,
Yeah.
you can also take language courses, for example.
You
I
can
don't know
take language courses.
or honors program.
Yeah, for example, language courses you can take in your first year already if you want. They're not too time intensive, they're like 2 hours a week probably. But you also have, what she already mentioned, minors. I'm doing a minor as well. It's in the first trimester, your minor, so the other 2 trimesters you're focusing on IBA itself. But normally in the first year no one does that, no one knows about it. But in the second year, a lot of my friends are also doing a double degree of philosophy and IBA. So in the evening, you have classes of philosophy, so it doesn't clash with each other. Besides that, you also have double bachelors, which is, well, it's not really integrated, so you basically do 2 bachelors at the same time. A lot of people are doing IBA and psychology, but then your classes might clash. However, I think with them, they say it's quite manageable. Just in exam periods, it might get a bit hectic.
What's also possible is you can take an elective from another faculty. So if you decide to specialize in media or something, you can take a course from IPCOM. But they are, again, not integrated, so you're taking part in classes from another study, so it might conflict.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, here.
Okay, this question is for Kevin. I'm from Breda as well. Is it recommended to move to Rotterdam from the start, from your first year?
I would say yes. At the beginning, I was also, like you, a bit hesitant to move right away. I just turned 17 when I came to university, so for me that was kind of a big step. However, for the first 2 months, I didn't have a room yet, and basically there's a lot of things to do here, also in the evenings. So I basically slept around like everywhere the first 2 months, like at friends' places in a student hotel in the Hatta building. They were kind of my second home. But then in November I got a room, and I think it's for IBA because all the internationals live here anyways. So it is really recommended if you want to socialize that you live in Rotterdam. It's really nice. It has a lot of benefits.
Good morning. I have 2 questions basically. My first question is with respect to having grades in the first year. What grades do you need to pass the first year to the second year? And my second question is about internships. Like, is it partly covered, like financially speaking?
The grading system in Holland works that it's graded out of 10. 1 is a fail, or like 1 is the bottom grade and 10 is the highest grade. 10 is like rarely given. The average grade is maybe about 7-ish. 5.5 is a pass. So from 5.5 to 10 is passing. So just in order to pass your class, you just need to get a 5.5, and that counts for all, for all subjects.
You need a 5.5 average for each course. However, because you have midterms and finals, those exams, sometimes they require that you can't have below 4.5, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's really specific, depends on the course. But on average, to pass the first year, you need a 5.5.
Yeah.
And the second question was about internships.
Yeah. Can you maybe repeat the question?
Oh, for internships, whether there's financial support, right? Yeah. Okay. No, I don't think so. Really. Because actually the main option is to go on exchange. Most people, I think, go on exchange. So internship is just another option for people that do not want to go on exchange. If you want to go on an internship, it's pretty much up to yourself to find it. We do have career services where you can go for assistance, but it's pretty much up to yourself to find the internship, and there's not really financial support for that.
Yeah, so like Marisa said, in the third year, you can decide to go on exchange or do an internship. We have a career services office that on a daily basis we receive internships and vacancies for our students and our alumni from companies not only in the Netherlands but all over the world. Sometimes our students take an internship in the third year. Sometimes they wait to graduate for IBA, and then they take a gap year in which they take 2 internships because maybe they are interested like in finance and marketing and they don't know which one to choose. So they take 1 year of internships before they do their master, then they are sure they want to do, I don't know, finance. And that also is good for the curriculum to have these internships after IBA. Yes, where is the microphone? Okay. Okay.
If you had to give only one reason why someone should choose for IBA, what would it be for all of you?
The international mindset. Like, I'm used to it from high school, but I know that here you meet so many people from different cultures, and I think it brings you a lot as well to meet people and really interact with different nationalities and stuff.
For me, I would say the community. Everyone is really open, really social. They're always up to help you. So I think that's a really great environment to be in.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it any better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we have time for one more question, but we will have, yes?
Yeah, she's been having a question for a long time, I think.
Okay.
Go for it. Oh, actually, a microphone is coming, maybe. Yeah.
Thank you. Hi, sorry to be abrupt. With the international exchange program, can you do that for a whole year, or it is only acceptable for one term, one semester?
Just for one term, at least if you do it in the third year.
Yeah, the exchange is for one term, and after that we have classes in the second and third trimester at RSM again.
Is it possible then to actually take a deferral to maybe stay overseas a little longer and then finish the degree and take a gap for 6 months?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that is a general, like a very popular option, but it is definitely possible to take a gap year, for example, in between second and third year of your IBA, do a long internship, do a long exchange, whatever you want to do, and then finish your classes, you know, after that year. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not very common, but it could be approved.
Yeah.
Yes. And well, our students will be at the stand after this presentation, and we have more students at the stand. And we also have this Facebook app in which you can contact them anytime during the year. You can send them personal messages. Just use this link, and you will find them all. Thank you very much for coming to this presentation.